Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Join alongside Tim in Green Bay. We got Jacob in Wisconsin here to talk some Packers this evening as we're still coming off that draft high. Obviously, a lot of cool things happening over the weekend. And, man, it was just a blast. I almost don't want it to end, but it's time to really turn the page and start to dive into the tape and look at some of these prospects. Probably not going to be able to do chalk talks on every one of them, but tonight we're going to dive into the tape for Matthew Golden and kind of give you guys an idea of how Texas deployed him. Maybe what are some of his strengths, his weaknesses. We're going to revisit his scouting report, give you a quick refresher, and then watch it on tape. And of course, we'll have to do that continuing the stream on Rumble because here on YouTube, we don't know exactly what we're allowed to do. So with that being said, gents, how we doing this evening? Tim, what's going on, big dog?
Doing good. It's a beautiful day in Green Bay for now. Whatever's approaching Jacob over there on the west side of the state is going to be hitting me in the next couple of hours. So we had a great day, though. I took a ride over by the facility and kind of watched the breakdown of all the infrastructure and everything over there. It's really beautiful up here, though. Until tonight, we're going to get some heavy rain and storms. So, but doing well, man.
There you go. Jacob, what about you, man? As Greg Rice asked Jacob, do you have scrambled eggs on the brim of that hat?
How dare you, sir?
For
Mark. We're going to give him some.
Tim, get ready. There's going to be it's pretty nasty right now. Nothing's really hit here, but the word is ominous, man. It's got like that yellow and almost green sky. It's like the calm before the storm. There's no wind right now. It's just kind of eerie, to be honest. You could just smell the rain in the air, but it's coming, baby. It's coming.
Hey, that's a big word, Jacob. Ominous. Is that right? Ominous.
It's on my toilet paper word of the day.
There you go. All right. You heard it from a fan right here. Well, let's see here in the chat. Andy Monday says, catching up with the weekend's pods. I still can't believe Mel Kiper broke your luggage. Thanks, Andy. I'm in the process of reaching out to ESPN trying to get some compensation over that luggage. So, man, I wish I should have sent y'all a picture of it. It's unbelievable, man. They ripped when we landed in Green Bay and got the luggage. It was missing a wheel. I'm like, what the hell?
Who in the hell is Mel Kiper anyway?
And we didn't want to be late for the Uber. It's like, all right, we'll hit them on the way back through. So on the way back through, we told them when we checked back in, hey, getting ready to get on the plane to go back. They tore a wheel off, and they said, all right, well, I'll make a note here in the system. Just there'll be a process you have to go through, scan a QR code, fill out some stuff online. Nobody wants to talk to you face-to-face nowadays, which is actually the problem we've had with YouTube as well, but ironically. So then we land in Johnson City or the Tri-Cities area here in Tennessee, get the luggage. It's missing the fourth wheel or whatever. So there's only two wheels now. And the bottom corners where the wheels were is ripped completely off and just exposed to the inside. I was like, man, we pissed somebody off. Holy cow. So anyway, must have been a Bears fan seeing us roll through or something, I guess. I don't know. But by the way, I want to mention this. The comment that Clay Matthews said, kicking off the draft night, the whole talk to President Trump, and he actually sent this message out, the Bears still suck. I watched back on the plane on the flight back. Me and Mandy were like, let's watch the first round again. So we have Wi-Fi and we just watched the first round. When it got to that part, do you know NFL Network cut that out and they actually just showed a zoomed out portion of the crowd? And then after Clay was done talking, it went back to the stage. I thought that was kind of weird. I was like, wow, that's weird. Okay. Everybody in the crowd absolutely loved it. Everybody was just, yeah, I thought it was just awesome. I thought that was strange. So anyway, just wanted to mention that. Kind of odd for me, but maybe it was
weird because it was one of the rare times where a joke went off and people knew it was a joke. I haven't heard any. I even see crap on Twitter, which is crazy because everything you can, you do anything wrong on Twitter, you're going to hear about it from thousands of freaking. It's crazy. Whatever.
Yeah. 2-0 for this says that they also edited in Shedeur getting drafted in the second round. They couldn't pull that one off. Could not pull that one off. So anyway, and listen, I understand the approach of trying to make everybody happy. It's never going to happen. You know, you're never going to be able to make everybody happy. But I just thought in the moment it was really cool to see everybody go nuts and just, hey, that's part of the rivalry, right? It had nothing to do with politics. It's like It's a freaking sitting president. Like it is what it is, right? If he had said Joe Biden wrote a letter, right, it still would have been funny. And I know that part. I don't think that portion. Oh, they need to cut that out because Joe. Come on, we be grown ups here for a second and just enjoy the damn draft. But anyway, it was. I thought it was hilarious. So, with that being said, let's hit some of the news around. And well, speaking of rivalries here, and the Bears still sucking. I thought this was funny. I seen this. This came across somebody had sent it over to me on Facebook. So it came from some kind of Facebook group. If anybody knows who is the original creator of this. Feel free to tag them in the tweet. I'd love to give them credit for it, but I just said not all heroes wear a cape. So this dude had a custom $170 Vikings jersey made that says Super Bowls with the number 0 under it, right? And
look at Raj holding that jersey up with pride.
The fact that Roger Goodell posed with it too, man. Listen, I don't know how you guys feel about Roger Goodell. I like him. I've always liked him. I think he's a good commissioner. I know he kind of takes the blunt force trauma of the fan base as if he's the one making the decisions. Guys, he is literally the dude. Yeah. All of the owners come together and go, here's what we're doing, Raj. You go piss them off. That's exactly how that works, right? So I thought this was great that he joined in on this. I don't know. How do you guys feel about Roger Goodell? Just real quick. We'll be.
You know what's crazy is that I used to absolutely. I couldn't stand the guy. Absolutely couldn't stand him. Every time he'd walk out, I understood the boos. And then I became a boss, and I realized exactly what you said, Clayton. Like people like you're gonna hate the boss for no reason because every single thing that comes out of their mouth, is a directive you feel like is towards you. I think that he himself, the reason I didn't enjoy him is because I felt like he took himself too seriously at first. And in the last 10 years, I've watched this dude completely understand, hey, I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time. And him embracing, I love when he walks out and he's like, come on, give me the boot. That's all you got. That's all you got. Like you can tell that he knows it's going to come. And I really do believe that look at a guy like Baron Sorrell and what the commissioner did for him specifically in this draft sequence where he didn't have to stick around until day 3. And he told him that if you get drafted, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to announce you kind of thing. You could see the hug, the embrace that they gave. And, as much as I want to, he's the man, he's the suit, he's all this, he is. But I think that there's a little more humbleness to him that people at some point will probably see the good side of Roger Goodell. And like you said, he's always going to be the bad guy because he's the figurehead. Oh, speaking of the bad guy, here's the bad guy. Say good night to the bad guy.
I need to see
Emilio joining us here in a minute.
I need to see Emilio dressed up like Razor Ramon. I got to have that. I need that picture framed. Tim, what do you think about Goodell, though? You think he's done a pretty good job here, man?
I do. I mean, he's no Paul Tagliabue, but hey, he's he's certainly grown on me. I think to Jacob's point, I think you're right. I mean, really in the last decade or so, he's kind of hit his stride and kind of found his own identity as the commish. And I think booing the commissioner at this point is just like a term of endearment, really, from fans. Right. And he strikes me as a guy that we know this is a business, right? It's a money league. It's about, generating revenue and expanding the brand and all of that. But I think he's a guy who cares about these players and he cares about the fans. So I got no problems with Raj at all. Yeah.
We got Emilio joining us now. Emilio, we were just cracking up at this image that got sent to me over on Facebook of this Packer fan that spent $170 on a custom jersey just to troll the Vikings. But cool that Roger Goodell joined in here.
Worth it, absolutely. Something I would probably get my hands on. That would be tucked away in the bag before I walked in. Man, I'm just glad he took the picture with him, right? Yeah. I mean that was kind of what we were chirping. Didn't I tell you we saw the Lions fans with 4 Super Bowl rings on each of their heads? All 4 of them are walking around with rings on their head. But for what? The banner they hung?
Ignorance is bliss, baby.
Yeah,
gotta love it. Living in a land of delusion.
Exactly right. Exactly. All right, let's hit on the next topic here, and that's obviously the Packers have signed a player as Ian Rappaport. Shout out to Jordan Schultz. He's the first one I've seen with this information. He actually DM'd the tweet over to me, and then Ian Rappaport obviously mentioned it was a 1-year deal, so I figured we'd just share this one. Ian Rappaport, the Giants free agent, Linebacker Isaiah Simmons is now visiting the Packers today. Sources said this was on April 14th. And then he quote tweeted that and said the Packers are now signing him to a 1-year deal. Now, we talked about this, and Jordan Schultz in another tweet did an excellent job of pointing out his strength is definitely special teams. I want to say he had like an 88 special teams PFF grade. So someone who's drastically underperformed as a defensive player in the NFL. However, he's got all the physical tools, the traits. If anybody can get it out of him, it's Coach Hafley. And you're picking up basically a special teams ace. So I think your team definitely got better with this signing. I'm just not expecting him to come in and play. You know, some people were saying nickelback, he's going to rush the passer, he's going to play stack backer. I'm kind of like, hey, let's slow your roll a little bit, Jacob. I know that's your that's your go-to song when you got a lady.
Sorry, when I hear nickelback, I can't help but just throw up a little rock on. You know what I mean?
That's what you put in the 6 disc CD changer when you bring the ladies over to the pad. Is that what happens?
All 6 CDs, all Nickelback, baby.
Did they have 6 albums?
Oh, in the back of that 2001 Hyundai Elantra, right?
Like Jacob would have had a day with the automatic blinds, man. With the press button blinds, dude, he would have been tearing that up.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, it was caveat. What do they call it? Caveat problems over there. Is that right now? Caviar problems.
There you go.
Caviar problems. There you go.
There you go. I'm not Dirk. I'm not Dirk at all. Greg Rice, Nickelback, love that band. I bet you do, Greg.
At one point, everybody just woke up and decided we hated Nickelback. All right, guys, let's go back. It was the best.
They were a good band. I don't care what anybody says.
Chuck Jagger's now that's like All Music Volume 4.
Those were actually elite. Dude.
Actually, it's 1 through 6 in Jacob's CD changer.
Yo, Bates comes in. He goes, actually, Nickelback has 10 studio albums.
Of course, Bates knows that, right? Bates said, walk down the aisle to that. Yep. Hey, fam says, what's wrong with Nickelback? That's a great question.
If Atham likes them now I feel bad.
Don't put that name in my mouth right there.
All right. Anyway, how do we feel about the Isaiah Simmons signing here? Obviously, 1-year deal, probably going to be a minimal contract, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is low risk, high reward situation. I think, right? 1-year deal, not super committal. Let him come into the fold, see if see if he can contribute. I think he brings a little bit of. I mean, I guess you call him a vet, right? He's going to be 28 this year. He's 27 or something like that right now. So, old enough to know better, young enough to still enjoy it. Maybe a guy that can, come in and be a little bit of, provide some veteran leadership in that younger linebacker room. So, I don't think this is like a, game-changing signing by any means, but I do feel pretty good about it. I think he can help us win ball games. And it'll be fun watching him and Christian Welch at camp battling it out this year. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, I honestly like the signing. 8th pick overall, very recently. I don't think it would surprise anybody to maybe pose the suggestion that, hey, the Giants didn't have the best organization for the last 3-4 years. Maybe they didn't understand how to utilize this guy's talents. Maybe they didn't understand how to draft and develop. They got the draft part right, but that's about half of it there. I think they maybe were sleeping on the job for the develop part. So you bring a guy like this in, like you talked about, we have multi-facets here. We got Hafley, who can take him under his wing and absolutely show him what to do here. We got the guys on the D-line, guys like Gary and the whole laundry list of people there that could probably help this guy tweak what he does well. And then the biggest part, like we maybe mentioned there, is Rich Bisaccia, where if in addition to being obviously the assistant coach, we all know he's got his kind of his niche, his specialty is with the special team guys. And if this guy already has a really good grade as that type of player, like you said, Clayton, we're not expecting him to come in here and be, the best, the defensive player of the year type guy. He's a guy that's coming here and he's just going to make our football team a notch better. And that's all we do. Every year we get a little bit better here, a little bit better there. And who knows? I have all the hope for him in the world that if he comes in, he kills it on special teams, he gets maybe a shot here and there to show what he has. And all of a sudden we start seeing why he was a 1st-round draft pick. And real quick, Tua for this, crush this. He said, what concert can you go to for 45 cents? He said 50 Cent with Nickelback. Son of a...
I see what he did there. What do you think about it, Emilio? I know you love that, Joe.
Hold on, only too old for this could combine hip hop, rock and roll into a dad joke. I love it.
Yes,
it's awesome.
Yeah, I honestly think it's probably just, like an Eric Wilson replacement, right? Someone that you really trust on special teams that's going to help you out on the field. Can, if you want him to be that captain on special teams, perfect. And maybe he has a high floor for playing defense if he can get out there and step up. But I really think, kind of a Eric Wilson replacement, bring in a special teams guy. If he can't win a spot over somebody else on special teams, then so be it. But at least you gave it a shot. And the Giants, man, just dishing out players that they don't want. X worked out for us. Let's see if Isaiah can.
Yep.
There you go. Hit that super chat for me, Jacob. I think I found what's being mentioned here by Josh Martin. I got to pull this up for us here in a second.
Yep. He goes, Josh Martin with the super chat says, you hear Bills GM Brandon Beane crash out on local radio this morning. Imagine the reaction if Gute did that. It would be all over social media and TV. I honestly have no idea what he's referencing there.
See, when he said crash out, I thought, did he get on there drunk? Did he pass out in the studio? What happened, right? Well, I've got the clip here. Evidently, Bills fans aren't too happy with the draft. Tim, can you get me a screen grab together, brother? We'll throw this up on the screen here. And again, Isaiah Simmons, before we jump into this, Isaiah Simmons, I think you're kind of building out the bottom of that roster. You're looking for a guy who could potentially add a lot of value on special teams. And who knows, he might be able to compete with Isaiah McDuffie for that third linebacker spot. I would much rather see Tyron Hopper get that opportunity and just throw Isaiah Simmons out on special teams on a one-year deal. So whenever you're ready, Tim, just pop it up there, sir.
Speaking of crash out right there, boy.
Perfect. So this was shared from at Rico_BF_. Now, listen, there may be language here. I don't know what's going to be said, but evidently they had it's Brandon Beane, right? Yeah, Brandon Beane on this podcast. I'm trying to see what podcast it is. Kind of hard to tell. But anyway, this was him responding, I guess, to the Buffalo Bills fans. Let's hear it.
I was just listening to the last few minutes of your show before I came on, waiting on here.
All right.
Sounds like 2018 all over with you guys.
Well, how so?
Well, you guys were bitching in 2018 about Josh Allen. You guys wanted Josh Rosen, and now you guys are bitching that we don't have a receiver. I don't get it. Like, we just hold on, let me talk. We just scored 30 points in a row for 8 straight games. A year ago, I get you guys asking why we didn't have receivers, but I don't understand it now. You just saw us lead the league in points when you add all the postseason. No one scored more points than the Buffalo Bills, including the Super Bowl champions. So you just saw us do it without Stephon Diggs, same group. How is this group not better than last year's group? Our job is to score points and win games. Where do we need to get better? Defense. We did that. So I get it. You got to have a show and you got to have something to bitch about, but bitching about wide receiver is one of the dumbest arguments I've heard.
Okay. I mean, I wish you'd listened to the 2 hours and 25 minutes before that, because there's plenty of things we do like about your draft. And I find it curious the energy you're coming at us with, but I mean, that's your choice.
I get it. I'm just like, let's be realistic. Our job is not it's not fantasy football, like to trot out the best receivers. You got Josh Allen. First thing you got to do is protect him. You can't have everything. You can't have Pro Bowl wide receivers and have a Pro Bowl offensive line and an all-pro quarterback and 3 great running backs. Like, you gotta pick. Sure, I'd love to play fantasy football, but there's one football, Jeremy. There's one ball. You can't give it to but so many people. So that's where I'm like, I don't understand this narrative. I felt it a little bit from a couple of the reporters and the thing. Like, our job is to score points. It doesn't matter what receivers, what quarterback, what. If you score points at the level we scored, that is winning football.
That does kind of sound like what we've been saying the last few years in Green Bay, even going into this offseason. Like, you would hear people talk about the receiving core. And I know this is they're referring to Bills, but you'd hear talking about a receiver. You go, oh man, we must have a top 10 or a bottom 10 offense. And you look up and we're like, no, we're actually top 10 offense. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like with the
defense as well. Yeah.
Same thing. And defense, we better get some corners. We're going to be horrible. And it's like, don't get me wrong, I wanted a corner. I thought it was one of those drafts that within the first or second round, you could probably nab a good corner, and that's going to help bolster the room. But the reality is they had a top 10 passing defense last year. They were 8th in sacks. You guys remember matter of fact, we might still have it. I'm not 100% sure. We had a graphic showing how good they were. in pass defense. Yeah, here we go. Coverage. Bang, right? Look at the EPA per dropback. The Packers were minus 0.02 in EPA per dropback, which basically had them tied for third in the entire National Football League, right? So, yeah, and it was just, well, these cornerbacks are horrible. Why are they? What metric are you using to determine whether or not they're horrible? I think it's awesome that Brandon Beane pushed back because, again, I think that sometimes fan bases and especially sports media guys, it's this idiotic GM. Let me explain what he should do. And you don't even really, you kind of get caught up in the emotion of how the last game ended as opposed to, all right, let's sit back and look at the entirety of the year because as he pointed out there, scoring 30 points in the last 8 games of the year. And Jacob, you got sports media saying, trying to paint him out to be an idiot for not drafting a receiver. It's crazy.
Yeah. I kind of like Mr. Bean. That sounded like maybe our kind of guy. Hey. It is interesting, and I will push back just a little bit on you. People saying we didn't do. We got a cornerback. We got Micah Robinson, and the guy is pretty freaking promising. If you look at what he is, we also have Kalen King. We also have Nate Hobbs. We also have Javon Bullard. We also have Evan Williams. We have a lot of guys that are multi-versatile that can play. We also have Carrington Valentine. A lot of people just forget that we have these guys that played some of their best ball last year. So I get, you can tell that guy went on there a little hot, obviously, but it's probably because he's heard nothing but, and I love the fans. I love all the listeners, all that kind of stuff. But once everybody has an opinion, and when all of a sudden you make a decision and you hear the opinions of people that for a fact did none of the due diligence that you did, you know what I mean? Like, for a fact, because you did it. That's what due diligence is about. I checked every box. I looked at every single stat. I looked through all the research. I did the interviews. I did all this stuff. And then somebody on the internet's like, that's a stupid pick. And you're like, all right, well, I guess I gotta just tip my hat to you because clearly you did everything that I didn't do. It's just, it's silly. It's stupid. And honestly, like he said, people have to have stuff to talk about. I think that's one of the things that I pride ourselves. We don't just do clickbait bullcrap on this podcast. And if it is clickbait bullcrap, if we address it and say it's clickbait bullcrap, and then we move on.
Right. Exactly.
Sorry, I'm sending a box of cannolis over to the Bills facility right now to their GM. Just finishing my order because that is awesome. You could tell that guy's just heard one too many stupid comments basically.
Absolutely.
And was sick and tired of it. And what it does is it makes me respect him a little bit more for just calling it out. And it also gives me a newfound, new level of respect for Goody because you never see Goody do that. Goody always keeps his cool. I mean, he hears crap like this all the time. The media has questioned him numerous times over the years about things like this. And he always kind of just, takes the Ted Thompson style approach and just, I'm not going to discuss that. It just kind of plays it cool, plays it off, and keeps it PC, so to speak. So I love that Goody's cool under fire. But yeah, man, how dare you, fan, journalist, whatever. I mean, you're not in the war room. You're not on the phone. You're not scouting guys. You're not watching tape for days and days and days and days and breaking down, players. It's just ridiculous, honestly. I think a lot of times us fans, myself included, we get caught up in the narrative. We get caught up in the feeling, like he was saying, or like you just said a minute ago, we get caught up in that last game or how the season ended, and we fixate on things, and we think that dictates an entire year of football, and it doesn't. So kudos to the Bills GM for kind of shutting down the nonsense. There will be zero nonsense today.
Yeah. And Emilio, H.E. Soder says here, odds are the stupid pick guy will be right most of the time if they just keep saying that because that's the way the draft works. It's so true. And had somebody come at me on Twitter earlier today, and they may be hiding in the chat. I'm just waiting for them to pop up so we can ban them. They tagged me in a tweet and talked about Julian, what's his name that we signed?
Fleming.
Fleming.
And it was like, Clayton, I mentioned this guy on the show the other night, and y'all laughed me off the show. I'm like, when did we laugh somebody off the show for that?
The only time we laughed a dude off the show was when he kicked his hamster, right, Bates? And then that dude, then we went and drafted his wide receiver, but we didn't.
Right. And
maybe Daryl.
That was Dante Thornton. But it's, that type of stuff is like, okay, so you mentioned a guy that went undrafted, and because we signed him, now you're going to hey, everybody stop what you're doing. This dude said we're going to sign a drafted free agent. No, you said we are going to draft him. First of all, you swung and missed, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it goes hand in hand with what
that's like saying Sean Dolek is my boy, and he got picked up by the Rams. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It's like,
told
all right,
y'all, right?
Yeah, I'm happy the dude got signed, right? Give him a chance in minicamp, but like, you know, we can stand on the table for anyone.
Hey,
But,
real quick, Emilio, when I was looking through our UDFAs and I was
Okay.
sorting through PFF, I was looking up a linebacker, the Dumas one, and I was sorting through all teams, and I'm like, boom, linebacker. And number freaking one on the list was Sean Dolek. And I literally out loud, I went, screw Emilio.
Jake,
I don't know why I got so mad.
When he first started talking, the first time he mentioned him on the show, I had never heard of Sean Dolek. That week, listening to Draft Podcast, 3 different times in one day, I heard them bring this Sean Dolek kid. Now that's just you need to watch. I'm going. It's like when you buy a new car. You know what I mean? You've never seen that car before. Now all of a sudden you look around, they're running around everywhere. As soon as Emilio mentioned it, I heard Sean Dolek's name everywhere.
Dude, that's it. I mean, you say it 3 times, he appears. But no, I think y'all make great points there. Like it's kind of like, you know, I listen to the Love the Star podcast, and Jerry gets on there once in a while and talks to them, but they're a little bit more, I guess. You know, they do put Jerry in some predicaments, but I mean, the fact that he just hopped on there and just kind of laid into him, like his full-time job is to be an NFL GM, you know, to be a scout, to be ahead of the team, to try to get the team in the right direction. Their full-time job is to cut on any decision made, right? So I think that, you know, he's got a lot more hours in the bullpen. You know, he's a lot more skilled at it. I think we need to take it at face value. I mean, we were happy with the Bills draft, and we weren't even, you know, we're not even rooting for him. We're just rooting for Maxwell Harrison and everybody else. So it's like the fact that you can't be happy about that. I'm glad we're squared away on that. But yeah, I know that, you know, some other Packers guys aren't, but hey, I mean, you know, to each their own. Let's move forward and just be happy for these dudes that literally have worked their whole life for this chance to try to play in the NFL. Half of them aren't even going to make it off the 90, right? So I'm just let them play, man.
AFAM giving you a shout out. Emilio's the tallest Italian Mexican I've ever seen in that group. It's so true. Every Italian and Mexican I know are typically short in stature. Right?
I got lucky, man. Yeah, I'll take it. I was gonna say what we looked at Maxwell. I was like, I got the height, man. I got a deep. What I had a 9'8", 9'9" vertical or something. I mean, we were cooking.
As soon as he took that picture with Maxwell Harrison at dinner, he comes back down the table. He said, "Clayton, I got the height, man. I just didn't have speed."
I did not.
It's have the first thing that went through his mind.
You know, it explains everything. That's why the Packers didn't draft him. There was a lot of guys in that restaurant that must have saw you taking that photo.
I could have maybe walked on long snapped or something, but that's about it.
Yeah, I like this too. Clint Armchair Quarterback makes a great point. The sombrero helped, and so did the cowboy boots day one. I just want to say that.
Hey, come on now. You're not supposed to tell the secrets, Clay. Those are
exactly.
Mailman's kid. Tom Holman, you don't say that.
You don't say that. J. Cole said, I'm still trying to figure out how the hell did Kobe Bryant or Jared Ivey not get drafted. This happens every year, right? Like I'm surprised too, Jay, completely surprised. I don't have my draft board from last year, but there was one defensive lineman. Who was it, guys? There was a defensive lineman that we were expecting to go kind of high. I want to say he was from Miami. Defensive tackle, Emilio. Name him
Leonard Taylor.
I think it was it. Leonard Taylor.
Right? Leonard Taylor.
Yeah. Is he in the league at all? Did he get picked up at all? Because
he did.
Because we had a good grade on him and he didn't go. So what do you guys think about Kobe Bryant?
What a little board, Clay. What are we doing here compared to the other one, too?
Yeah, man, I got this one right here. I slept with it last night.
That's last time I saw Taylor was on the Jets. I think he actually did. He wasn't great, but fairly well. Yeah,
definitely. All right. Some other news from today. The Packers were back in the building, it looks like. Green Bay Packers tweeted out today, feels like seeing our best friends at school for the first time after summer break.
Let's go.
Those were good days, though. Those were the bomb.
Oh, yeah. You kidding me, man? Like, literally, you see your boys walking through there, you're like, what kind of crap are we going to get into this year? Let's go.
Look at X walking down the hall looking like he stepped out of a 1994 hip-hop music video. I love it.
He does, though. And then next you got Bird, Jaden Reed. I think he's going to come out and ball out.
Happy birthday, Bird, for sure. That's the man right there.
And then you got Devontae Wyatt and Quay. They're up to something. Those Georgia Bulldogs.
Look at they're sharing a joke right there for sure.
I'm digging those socks that Devontae Wyatt's got there. They got them pulled up over the joggers. Is that what's going on there, Emilio? Is that what you do on Saturday nights? Get the
socks over the joggers is a power move. I actually I do that a lot on the light sweatpants. Definitely mid calves. Wrap those because sometimes those things are hanging, dangling around and stuff. You got to be ready to run. Sometimes I mean that's a move.
There you go. You heard it from a fan right here. And then, of course, Luke Musgrave looking 127.5% Caucasian.
I'm pretty sure I wore that
ready
shirt
to go
work
cut
today.
and trim.
Did you wear that to work today? That shirt?
It's Carhartt. That's
I
Carhartt.
got to jump on a ride on. You can tell. Look.
Chris the Casual in asked, did Restrepo slow ass get signed? Why you got to be like that?
He did. He got signed. He's going to be back with Cam Ward. Yep.
Okay.
Wow.
Got it. Hey, listen. I know speed is an important thing in the National Football League, but if you've got a knack for getting open, I mean, there are people that made a big living in the league, just being able to create that separation, just enough separation, and having the hands to obviously convert. So, H.E. Solder, Musgrave looks 50. He kind of does, doesn't he?
Yeah, Clay, you're on Restrepo, man. That whip route can get you 5 yards on college football. You know what I mean?
I got you.
Hey, I'll take it all day
right here.
Jake gets so mad.
Throw that whip out there, especially on JV, right?
Oh,
So
done for.
JV all the time. baby.
Anything you guys want to hit on before we jump into Matthew Golden's scouting report? Just get a quick refresher.
What,
Before we jump into-
what is this
First, did
comment,
you-
first of all?
Did somebody say whip?
What is
Greg?
this? Yeah, Jacob would know this. Go ahead, Jacob.
Greg, Greg says, Jacob, you should know this. Who was the quarterback who had a hot mom? Well, I'm sure a lot of them do, Greg, but that's not what I focus
How did
on.
I know that
all
was
right?
going to be your answer?
Well, I mean, in this
It's
draft,
funny
last
too
draft,
because I
got my
who he's
top 10.
talking about.
Do you?
He's talking about our boy that was with the Jets, right? That was the big one.
Zach
What was
Wilson?
that? Zach Wilson, yeah. And ironically, Zach Wilson got in trouble for sleeping with one of his mom's friends. I heard about that. So it's like, boy, oh boy, getting out of control over there. Perfect drop. So he's still in Denver, right? Am I thinking right?
Wilson? Yeah.
Run sample. Jacob has the hot
I
mom
look like
big boy.
I look like Charlie connecting the dots. Oh boy.
I feel like he's got pictures of them too, not just the name. He's got the pictures that you move around the board. Unbelievable. United Base says Jackson Dart's mom.
Oh my goodness.
No, look at Respect Orange. Just can I borrow that,
boy.
Jacob, when you're done?
Getting out of hand.
Jeez.
I got it laminated for you, buddy. It's all good.
Oh boy, Jacob.
Well, that's right. Zach Wilson's in Miami.
Is he really? I didn't know
that's
that.
right.
So are a lot of people's moms. It makes sense.
Jacob, I know you got to run soon, right? It's bingo night, right?
We don't run, Tim. We leisurely walk. All right, run and get your hips broke.
No.
Jacob waits tables at the bingo parlor.
Yeah, those tennis balls slide real nice across the carpet, Jacob.
All right, it's enough. Can we please act like grown-ups here for just a second, please? Holmes says the show sucks. Yes, it does. Holmes. You're right. All right, Chuck. Now, see, this is out of control. Here we go. Let's move it along here. Let's talk a little Matthew Golden, and then we're gonna end this stream and stay live on Rumble, and also have it available in our Patreon group. We're gonna do a chalk talk on Matthew Golden. If you're going, oh, Clayton, that's crap. Why don't you stay live on YouTube? Message YouTube and ask them what the problem is. I don't know what to say. So Mike Hebring says, I have a hot mom board. I'll send it over to Jacob so we can compare notes. Mike, you're going to get in trouble with Mrs. Superfan, sir.
You're an amazing person. You know that, don't you?
The best thing all weekend was when I got to meet Mike's wife, and she shook my hand and said, you're in my kitchen all the time. And it wasn't like oh yeah, let's do it all the time. It was like, I'm sick of hearing your redneck voice in my kitchen. That's what it was.
I told her thank you when we were leaving. I said thanks for listening. She goes, you know what? It just gives me time to do my own thing. And I was like, yeah, that's fair. Because I'm telling you, sometimes.
You know what I said to her? I shook her hand and said, thanks for putting up with him. That's exactly what I said. I'm moving right along. So that's hilarious. It gives me time to do my own thing. All right.
That's like the best backhand compliment ever.
Is this big board covered in cannoli grease and beard oil? Jacob's never
Wash
had
your hands, wash your butt, man. That's it. That's all.
Jacob has still never had a cannoli, and I'm outraged by it. I'm just telling you right now.
I've had cream cheese wontons. I feel like it's the same thing.
No, it's,
Emilio in the
Just
private
say,
chat
take
is
those
telling
words
me-
back out of your mouth, Jacob. That is unbelievable. Start this Matthew Golden talk. I cannot listen to him anymore.
let's see here. One more. I like the random draft talk, to be honest with you, man. Michael in the chat says, are you guys surprised about Deion Sanders' kid on where he was drafted? I am surprised he fell that far. It didn't catch me off guard that he started to slide in the first round, because hearing Greg Cosell talk about it, and he pointed out, I don't go to the tape and do my own scouting report on players. I've told you all that from the beginning. But he said Shedeur Sanders is considered this really, really accurate quarterback, but 70% of his passes were screens, were like, 5 yards or less on passes. So he said, I'm telling you right now, so Greg Cosell, I'm telling you right now, NFL GMs, NFL scouts are going to throw every one of those snaps out the window. That means nothing to them. So what did he do outside of that, right? And the fact that, and then people will say, well, he had a crappy line. Okay, that may be the case, but like Greg Cosell said, with a crappy line, the ball needs to come out of your hand. Most of the time, he ran straight backwards. That's a big no-no. But I think the interviewing process, too, as we got closer to the draft, you heard all of the news, especially from Tom Pelissero. And listen, kudos to Tom Pelissero for standing on his reporting, because it got loud with colleagues. Kyle Brandt threw his little hissy fit. I guess he wasn't getting enough tension like he's got on the NFL now. You just has triggered me, right? Damn, Mel Kiper. I won't say any names because I don't want to cause any beef within ESPN. But listening to fellow ESPN folks today on the radio roasting him, like, that's a bad look, Mel. Mel basically said the league has had bad quarterback play for the last 50 years, and he had Shedeur Sanders as the top quarterback in the draft.
Who in the hell is Mel Kiper, in a way?
What kind of ego do you have to have, bro? First of all, you're on the same flight as me, so you can't be rolling that deep. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to be honest with you. It wasn't
a huge plane.
No, it was a little pack of gum, wasn't it? I look back at Emilio. I'm like, what's Emilio doing back here? He's got sunglasses on, big cool daddy in the plane.
Out like a light.
Bro, it was a 45-minute flight, and you were asleep.
And you're getting mad at me about your naps. I take one cat nap on the plane where we can't do anything, and I'm ready to go for the weekend.
Yeah.
And then we run down Mel Kiper. He just dissed the cheese curds. My man ran right down, went to go talk to Spectrum, gave an
Found
interview.
the camera quick, boy. Got in front of that camera quick.
Unbelievable. All I have to say to this, Michael, is I'm just so happy that we're past it, because right here where Clint's at, I mean, no disrespect to the for Sanders, but they have gotten way too much airtime, and literally every podcast I listened to today talked about Shedeur for like 15 minutes. So I'm glad we didn't watch the draft and have to hear that the whole time, because I would have gone crazy listening to that every 5 minutes. I really would have. I'm glad that it's over. I'm glad he got drafted. Congrats, make a name for yourself. Tom Brady was in the 5th or the 7th or something. I mean, like, just do your thing. But I'm so ready for that talk to be over and just get on to the next thing.
Yeah. Chuck Jagger says, go ahead. I'm sorry, Tim. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, talking about Shedeur, like, does anyone on this pod think he's going to start? I mean, I think he's probably going to back up Joe Flacco in Cleveland,
The pod I was listening to, GM Shuffle, they were talking. He was like, well, you might as well let them both play and see what happens. But then you're fighting two rookie quarterbacks all year, and you're still paying Deshaun. I mean, you're still paying that dude. And and if it was the GM or the owners that wanted to sign Shedeur, I mean, then you're falling right back into that Deshaun Watson. It feels like, if you're forcing your hand on it. And then they're always talking about like, oh, well, if you just reshuffle it and put Shedeur in the 1st or 2nd round, it looks like a great draft. Like, well, the point, I mean, he didn't get drafted till the 5th round for a reason. We can't go back and shuffle it now.
Right.
Yep, I agree.
So true. Chuck Jaggers has a question. He says, Yo Booty can sleep on a plane, Emilio?
That's a fact. Chuck,
go ahead. I get some good rest on plane.
Lift that headrest if you can. If not, just deal with it. I honestly can't even do a neck pillow because I'm sitting up too far, so like it hurts. Yeah. But I'm just lean back, put the sunglasses on, and go to bed.
I mean, when you fly first class like a baller, I mean, it's easy to sleep on the plane. You got that oversized leather seat. Got the leg room.
That's exactly right. I see people get all like nervous on flights and stuff. They're all like, you could look around, they're all anxiety filled and everything. And me, I'm like, hey, this might be it. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, once you're on and the door's locked, what's it matter? I mean, you're locked in at that point.
It's done. I'm like Tater Salad. You remember they call me Tater Salad? If this thing goes down, make sure you hit something hard. I don't want to limp away from it. You know what I mean? Just put it nose down. Seriously, like, what are you going to do once you're up there, right?
Right.
What are you going to do? So, anyway, that's what you get on this show. And yes, I think it was Greg Rice. You should take full credit for derailing this show. I believe it was Greg, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yep, it was Greg. Yeah.
I take credit for the complete derail of the PTA train. Yes, sir. Well done. Well, we might as well wait till hour 2 before we hit in the Matthew Golden stuff here, since we've covered pretty much anything else in the draft. Is there anything else y'all want to hit on before we turn the page and get into the Matthew Golden talk?
Yeah, Matthew Golden wearing number 22. I don't know if we covered that. He was going to go to 81 for a while. I heard they switched. He's going to wear number 22 for the Packers.
Yeah. United Bates after 7 rum and cokes. I'm like, let's see what this thing can do.
Bates is banging on the door of the cockpit. Let me drive. Come on.
Come on, man. Let me we won't mention. All right, let's go.
Be a crackhead.
that got hold of the cockpit, right? Easy, Jacob. You know what we meant.
Seriously, Jacob.
They got hold to the wrong stuff.
So immature. That's going to do it for hour 1. For those of you listening on the pod, we will see you on the other side for some Matthew Golden talk in hour 2. We appreciate y'all.